Hey guys, welcome to Panthera-Tora, and today we are going to be doing another Zoo Tycoon remake video, and today specifically we're going to be working on the Restaurant and Picket Fence. So as you guys can see, obviously I'm kind of making the shape. Start out basic and build your way up. So I don't know, like I really wanted to do a more advanced building, and I was looking through Zoo Tycoon and I kind of remembered the restaurant and I was like, you know what, I should try it. So just kind of a spoiler, a little bit. I don't know if you guys really care that much about this, but this is not a usable building per se. I mean, it could be if you really wanted it to be. But the way that I built it, it's just kind of for show to try to recreate the look of Zoo Tycoon. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I wanted to. That was the original idea, is to have some kind of restaurant in there and where you could sit down and eat. And I made it look like that, even on the inside. So if you're looking through the windows, it looks like a restaurant that you could probably eat at. But I did not personally take the time to make an entrance on it. And you'll see later why I did that. And as you can see here, I started out with the roof, of course, and then had some issues where, well, not really issues, but I started out with the lower roof, the 1 meter and 2 meter roofs, and then I switched it up. I kind of compared the models, and I thought the 2 meter and 4 meter would look a little bit better, so I ended up using that. So yeah. So if you guys look at, obviously I'll have a picture, probably, I guess now that I'm talking about it, I'll overlay a picture, but how the original Zoo Tycoon model looks is that it has these little like lips on the edges of the building, or at least on most of the edges. And I recreated that with the girders in Planet Zoo. So I think that turned out pretty nice. I never thought about doing this before, but I did, and it turned out better than I thought. Unless you know what you're looking for, you would never really think that these were girders. So girders, water catchers, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, it worked out pretty well. I might actually start using that in my personal builds later. But as for now, that was actually pretty cool, I think. I don't have a lot of talking points on this video. Usually on these, I just start talking and keep going, but this is like 15 minutes of me talking, so yay! But yeah, just trying to get those to match up. So I guess in the meantime, while I'm finishing up these girders, I can kind of say that me and a couple of people that I've met on the Zoo Tycoon Discord have actually legitimately been working on modding. And I never thought I'd be able to get into modding myself, but I legitimately did. And I'm like super excited about it now. So currently I am working on a black buck mod. I almost said black butt. That would have been horrible. Black buck mod. I see, I almost said it again. Oh my god. We're working on that mod, and it's basically based off the Thompson's Gazelle, because that is the closest you can get to matching it in real life to what is in the game. I believe they stand about the same height. Their body type is about the same, so I thought I'd go with that. And it's coming along pretty well, I think. So hopefully really soon I'll be able to show that off on the channel. I've been working on it the last about 24 hours now. Takes some more time to develop, but of course it looks really cool. And back to the matter at hand. So of course the original Zoo Tycoon restaurant here has these little like jet outs for the entrance, and then I guess would be probably the staff exit. And of course I started building it on the wrong side, so that's what you just saw me do, is flip it around. It doesn't match up exactly perfectly with the actual building, so it's kind of hard to build on. And even the side piece, this little window piece on the side, was kind of hard to do because of that same reason. So I was able to do it as good as I could, but of course not everything matches up perfectly. So I think it still looks pretty good for what it is though, so no complaints here. The windows matched up almost perfectly with what was in original Zoo Tycoon, so that was really cool. Got quality building there. And originally I wanted to use I think they're called thatch, like it's like a hay roof basically. But you can't recolor those, so I didn't end up using that, and I used I can't read it from here, basically these little tiles, and it works. I think it looks pretty decent, but the only problems that I have with it is that it doesn't really match up with about where I'm about to start doing it. This does not match up like at all. I wish I could have changed this somehow. And in fact, I kind of want to go back and just change it to having only a just straight roofing piece and not a curved piece, because I feel like that would look better. But the curved piece does match the actual original Zoo Tycoon building, so I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on it. Like, I like them both, but I feel like it'd be better if it had a straight piece. So that's just my opinion anyways. Feel free to change it as you feel fit. So of course I was trying to get all the angles to match up with it. I needed that roof to be a little bit lower so I could get a window properly underneath this little roof edge here. And it was kind of hard to do, but I made it look decent, I think. And then of course it has that little like roof garden right here. So I did that as well, and I thought it looks really good as well. So yeah. And there was a little lip just past the edge of that, so I tried to recreate that as well. And on the actual Zoo Tycoon version of this, there's the two windows, of course. There's flowers like you see me placing right now, but there's also like two bushes in front of the windows. And I didn't really feel like that matched up with the way this building scaled out. I wanted to actually be able to see the windows. So I kept that without the actual bushes there, as you can see here. I think that looks pretty good myself, but yeah, I think I was kind of comparing the models there. It's probably why I paused. Like, if you ever see the video pause, that's probably why, because that's all I was doing is comparing the two models. And I was able to get the colors matched up pretty perfectly. Thankfully, this door that's actually in the game, just the single door, and then we used the double door later, it matches up color-wise pretty good, so I didn't even bother recoloring it. So if you're wondering why that doesn't really match up, that would be why. And then, of course, on the original, I say of course a lot, oh my gosh. On the original one, there is that little like ledge piece there underneath the door, so that's pretty cool. I think this was the most tricky part of the whole build. Like, I can build buildings all day, but I was going to try to, like, to a T recreate this sign that's on there. And I think like the circle pieces, they came out like perfectly. Like, I was having some troubles with it at first, trying to figure out how I was going to do it. And then I figured that I could just take this circle, recolor it, shrink it down just a little bit, or not shrink it down, but like lower it down a little bit. And then I could just kind of like overlay it, so it kind of gives it that little edge. And I did that twice with both sizes, the biggest and then the smaller one. And I think that worked out pretty well. It kind of has that like target sign feel to it. So right here is where I tried to start recreating it, and then realized that there's no shapes that really could make like a fork. So I was like, well, I guess we're just going to go with the brands that are in the game. So I kind of made like a little flashy, forgot what it's called. Chief Beef sign right about here. So it's just a flashy sign, and that's about all it is. Nothing too fancy. Obviously, it's not exactly the same as the original one, but this one's accurate to Planet Zoo, so I think that's kind of suiting. And that's why I also kind of wanted to put like an actual staff building in there. Not staff building, but a food building in there for them to eat, because the sign says they can eat. And then, of course, people would come up and be like, well, I can't eat here. Yep, that's because I didn't put a building in there, so I could go back and do that. If somebody actually wanted me to, I would definitely go back and try to make it work. And of course, there's like actual places to sit down and eat and garbage and stuff like that in there, so that would all already work out. So there are little side windows here that I tried. I mean, like, this is to the best of my ability to what is in the game currently. The windows They didn't match up perfectly, I don't think, because the ones in Zoo Tycoon are definitely smaller, like 100% smaller. So I at least matched the color and they're long windows, so I think that works pretty well. And of course, as you can tell, the original Zoo Tycoon roof for this entrance is like totally different, but there's like almost nothing in game that I could match to that, so I figured I'd just use this same roof again because it's the same color in game and everything, so I just went ahead and did that. And then I tried really desperately to get the pillar and everything to get the colors correctly because they match up on the original. But this is the closest I could get with that, is just kind of adding some extra walls to the side to kind of extend the color over. Which is also, that leads to why I can't actually do a genuine doorway for people to walk through. Like, I can make a door and they can just kind of teleport through it. They will walk through it, I've seen it happen. But the way that the wall pieces on this have to be to get that entrance in there, it wouldn't work to have another door behind that, another archway behind that. So like you can see right here, I was trying it and I gave up pretty freaking fast on that. And I just put a door that matched the doors that are on the original model. Couldn't really do a circle of bricks here, but I definitely matched the bricks. I think those look pretty cool. And I flipped the windows around, added those to the front as well. I think at that point, oh, okay, I still had a couple details. So, needed the lamps. I got those to match up pretty good. Then I was trying to figure out something, and I actually found this little, I think it's like a signpost or something. I ended up using that as the little, like, I don't know what you would call them, the like little posts to hold up the roof. Not as if you would even need anything to hold it up, but they're there in the original model, so I added them to this model as well. And I scooted these windows back to make sure they weren't overlaying really strange like they were. And then I believe from this point, yeah, I start working on the little edge garden, so that's kind of cool. Now I believe as long as you have a pathway under it, people will still walk through these, so it doesn't really matter that there's a little bit of mulch showing in the front of the building. The only reason I did that is because that's what the original Zoo Tycoon model looks like. And of course, you're going to hear that from me a lot. Like, I'm trying to recreate these things, so I'm sorry if I get kind of like repetitive on saying like, well, I was trying to recreate it. So yeah, I'm trying to be as accurate as I can, so that's why most of the stuff looks like this. And I started to do that a little bit wider, and then I realized it wasn't as wide, so there we go. And I think that the little staff door on the side, I think that's the only one that I kind of left the mulch in front of it. But I did not put plants in front of it, obviously, because you're supposed to be walking out of that door. So I did not cover that part up. And if you guys, I don't know if you remember or if you have any way to look at it other than me, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it looks like there's like little red plants in the corners, and it might just be an anomaly with like how the game engine ran in Zoo Tycoon way back in the day. But I did try to recreate that a little bit. I put these little like desert flowers here and there to kind of simulate that. And I think it gives it a little bit of flair other than just having green plants all around it. If I was doing this just the way that I would want to, I definitely would not have like just green. I would have some flowers here and there, maybe add some like little, I don't know, like bushes or whatever. But just green plants doesn't really work with me. So yeah, I don't know, if you want to recreate that in your own vision, definitely feel free to. Now, as you can see here, I did create a little bit of the inside of this, and it wasn't too much. Like, I didn't cover up the ugly details because I figured, well, if nobody's going there, nobody's going to actually see. Nobody's going to be able to get close enough to see those details, so I did not cover those up personally. But it would be very easy to cover up if you felt the need to. Of course, I added the little details that you can see on the inside, like just a little bit, not a lot. And then I believe in just a second I did a little bit of light scaping, I guess you can call it, yeah. So making sure the whole place is lit, literally, not figuratively. And then I create the fence at the very end, and that's about it. So we've got, I think, about a minute left at this point. I don't really have a counter anywhere that shows me that, but I believe it ends at 16 minutes. Yeah, so we got like 50 seconds left. So I did the inside of the lights, and then I did the fence. So yeah, it's really cool. I think the lights are probably like one of the best parts of it. Like, the lights always add extra details to stuff. Like, a lot of people don't think about it because a lot of people just play the game during daytime, but I definitely think about it. My original park had nighttime as well, so I thought about these little details every once in a while. And I wanted to do some garden lighting, and then I thought about it, I was like, you know what, they probably didn't have that on the original, so I decided to not do that. So as far as the original, the picket fence, the picket fence, sorry, I almost miscalled it something else. As far as that was concerned, I couldn't really find any objects in game that were like pointed at the top. So unfortunately, they're not true pickets, but we definitely have these little wood pieces, and I think those match up pretty well. The fence actually turned out smaller than I originally wanted it to be. Like, it looked bigger whenever I was building it, but I probably could have used the bigger pieces in all actuality. So I got the colors matched up pretty well, and that's about it. So if you guys want to download this, it'll be in the description. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!